Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our session today on Uganda. My name is Michael. I am one of the reps here for Exotic Journeys. Thank you so much for joining us today for our special series of seminars focusing on Exotic Journeys destinations and our partners, and of course, in celebrating in our 45th anniversary this year. So with that, let's get started. First, I'd like to introduce from our Exotic Journeys team, we have our director, Christine.
Hi, welcome everyone.
And we also have one of our product managers for Africa, Eva. Hello, Eva.
Hi, thank you, Michael. Welcome, everybody. And today to present Uganda, we have Mr. Tony Mulende, a managing director at Speke Uganda Holidays. Tony, you can start your presentation.
Awesome. A very good morning to you all. It is afternoon in Uganda, but a very good morning to you all. I apologize if you hear any birds in the background. Uganda has over 1,000 bird species, and where we are, they're quite a number. But, we're excited and looking forward to this wonderful presentation. And I think before we start off, we want to wish, Exotic Journeys, we celebrate with you, 45 years anniversary. What a journey, what a story. And we're privileged to handle your guests and, be a part of your story. So it is a great honor and a privilege.
Uganda is a fairy tale. You climb up, and at the end, there is a wonderful new world. The scenery is different. The vegetation is different. The climate is different. And most of all, the people are different from anything elsewhere to be seen in the whole range of Africa. I say, concentrate on Uganda. For magnificence, for variety of form and color, for profusion of brilliant life, bird, insect, reptile, beast, and for vast scale. Uganda is truly the pearl of Africa.
Now, Uganda, more than gorillas, and I think that is what excites us most. Normally, when you ask somebody about Uganda, they'll say, they probably had Idi Amin, they probably had a few other stories, but many have said, that's the country with mountain gorillas, and we're here to say Uganda is more than mountain gorillas. And myself, I'm a former safari guide for a couple of years. but we've been on this journey together with Exotic Journeys for quite some years, and it is a great pleasure. Before us, right on the slide, you're going to see the typical safari cars that we use when you're out on safari in Uganda. We have, the typical safari Land Cruisers in East Africa, they're mostly 6-seater Land Cruisers in the back, as well as 4-seater Land Cruisers. So that is normally the configuration, as well as the vans that, will do the airport shuttling in between. We'll move on to the next slide. We have, of course, if you're coming to Africa, you need to know where you are. So we make sure, that the safari package is littered with, some basic essentials that guests need. Right now the face masks have become an essential, and a few other things that, are important together with exotic journeys. Now we'll dive a little bit deeper into the understanding where Uganda is found and where we are as a country. To the eastern side of our country, I'm just going to pull up this map a little bit. Oh, sorry, not that one. So to where we are, you'll see the this is the map of Uganda. We have Kenya to the eastern part of Uganda, Tanzania to the southern part of Uganda, South Sudan to the northern part of Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo to the western part of Uganda. Now, Uganda is home to the start of the River Nile. So the River Nile starts its journey right here. Oh, this guy's oopsie. Oh, not you yet. That one. So the River Nile starts its journey right here in the heart of Uganda. And this is from Lake Victoria, which is shared between the three countries, Uganda, Rwanda, and the DR Congo, Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania, and Kenya. And the Lake Victoria offers the start of the River Nile. That is a north-flowing river flowing through various parts of the country. You will watch a video where we'll actually show the falls which are located right in this national park, Murchison Falls. En route to Murchison Falls, we find the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary, and I can tell you that Uganda in the 80s was home to over 300 northern white rhinos, and these northern white rhinos are right now extinct in the wild. We don't find any more northern white rhinos at all in the wild. We have, however, introduced some southern white rhinos that are in the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary. And in this sanctuary, we get a good opportunity to have a walking experience right up to them. And we're in proximities at about 20 meters. The white rhinos are normally they're friendlier and kinder, just as the Ugandans are. I missed to mention that Ugandans in the entire Africa are known as one of the most friendly, nations in Africa, and they are very, very accommodating, very welcoming. As a country, we've got over 56 tribes and more dialects of people. So it is quite a melting pot of different cultures. But and the advantages is that what is very special about Uganda is its authentic nature. So it gives guests an opportunity to actually see the East African safaris, coupled by the primate safaris and expeditions. But in addition, we also have opportunity to have some real in-depth safaris that are not only, where guests are staying in the car, but also seeing some aquatic species like hippos, like elephants coming down to drink, definitely like the Nile crocodiles. If your guests are up for fishing, this Murchison Falls area is as well a very important spot. The falls right here are what we're referring to, and in the video you'll be able to see it. From Murchison Falls, just Murchison Falls itself is home to some budongo forest where you find some chimpanzees, so you can do chimpanzee trekking. So what is exciting about Uganda is the proximity at which you can actually do different activities. You can do a morning game drive, an afternoon boat ride, and you could opt to say, one day I want to have chimpanzee trekking, and the other day I want to have an afternoon boat ride. So in a small area, Uganda is 251,000 square kilometers, but in a small country, you can see quite a lot in a small span. From Murchison Falls, we'll go down to the Kibale area. I will mention, just to touch a little bit, right in the northeastern part is Kidepo National Park, which is often visited by guests who've really been before in the country and want to see more of the country. And right down here, we have different reserves, the Semliki Reserve, as well as the National Park. The National Park is very close to Congo. In fact, a couple of years ago, we had some footages of the wild okapi in the Semliki National Park. In Kibale right here is we call it the primate capital because it is. Here we go. Okay, no, you darling. The map is okay now.
We as trackers, we play our part to make sure that they continue surviving and their habitats are not destroyed. Yeah. You have to know almost all the corners of the forest, the way someone can get adapted to the streets of a city. And you have to know the behavior of the gorillas, to know how they react, how they feel about you, in order to harmonize or handle situation while with them.
Try to stand and get back.
It can be in form of charging, like charging at a distance, or warning an individual. Being with the gorillas is a new experience every day. It can never be the same. I've tracked for them for so long, but every day I get a unique and a different experience. You're seeing a giant animal in front of you. You're wondering, what is it thinking about? But as we get used to them, as we stay with them, we realize they are really peaceful animals. When you are with them, they are always free. They always remain doing their own things. I'm always interested in seeing what they are doing, how they are playful. Yeah. Basically, these are endangered species, and their numbers are minimal. We really need efforts to conserve them by protecting their habitats. Clovis is my name, aged 26, and I'm a gorilla tracking guide in Gahinga Gorilla National Park.
So in Kibale right here, this we call the primate capital because it's home to about 13 species of primates. And the primates, include definitely the chimpanzees. And in Uganda, we have almost a 98% chance of seeing chimpanzees. In fact, in Kibale Forest, we have an activity called the chimpanzee habituation experience that we really recommend, when you have your guests that are interested in, either photographers, primate lovers, that they really want to have an in-depth understanding of chimpanzees. The chimpanzee habituation experience is a very, very rewarding activity for them to do in here. But the whole area, that whole region is as well very, very, it's called dramatic landscapes. It has several crater lakes and more attractions. It's also got very good good opportunities to have you know, and interactions with the locals, the tribes. You can have some. We have some very good. We have some families that we've identified over the years. Different families where in impromptu you can have a visit. You know, whether share an avocado with the family or have share a meal with them. So Uganda as well has really those authentic, spontaneous activities that are possible. For guests to see, you know, in this area in Uganda, if you find a wedding that's ongoing, and most likely, you know, and our guides are well equipped. The guides, together with Exotic Journeys, we've briefed our guides pretty well. Then, and they, if for example you find a wedding and it's ongoing, whether traditional wedding, sometimes, unless the program, you know, if we have a tight program, you might find guests who might find themselves in a footage of a local wedding, because they might stop, say hello, and before they know it, they're having a front row seats on somebody's wedding, and you know, and immediately they're VIPs. So that is what Uganda is about. We do have definitely the Rwenzori Mountains that are ideal, whether for 1-day hikes or 3-day hikes, to the 6-day, 7-day hikes that are straight up to the peak. The peak is 5,109 meters, lower than Kilimanjaro, but tougher than Kilimanjaro, a little bit comparable to Mount Kenya. So in fact, we Ugandans, but I know in you know, in North America, snow is not a problem, especially in Canada. But here we say we have snow on the equator, and it is a big deal down here. So we somehow celebrate that. But it's possible to have, though there's no good opportunity for skiing, but good opportunities to have good adventures up there. Queen Elizabeth National Park is definitely named from the Queen, the Queen of England, and it is a special national park as well that has a channel, Kazinga Channel, that connects these two. These two. Oh, I thought I'd pull you up a little more. These two lakes, one is Lake George and one is Lake Edward. And along this channel, it's teeming with wildlife as well. It gives a good opportunity to have, again, to see some aquatic species. So I can say that Uganda has good opportunity to combine kind of like the Botswana safari to an East African safari experience. And that in itself makes it unique. Down here in the south, we have the Ishasha tree climbing lions, that where we have about 50%, and I could say 60 to 70% chance of seeing the tree climbing lions in Ishasha. And this is en route to Bwindi. Bwindi here is the heart of the mountain gorillas. I'm going to flip back. I'm going to give you, so kind of this is the classic route, so to say. It can be done if your guests are looking at having a 10 days experience. So Uganda is a very good standalone destination, a rewarding standalone destination, in as good as it is an add-on destination to, say, a Kenya or Tanzania safari. We have direct flights that are coming from Masai Mara via Entebbe to Bwindi, to Kibale. So you can basically have breakfast in Masai Mara and have dinner with the gorilla sanctuary, and the next morning you're with the mountain gorillas. Same with the chimps, and the same with Serengeti via Oricare, that we can actually have some good experiences. I'm going to flip. So this is the typical safari map, and I can't say Uganda is as well. COVID is behind us now. We're totally open. The country is open. No more testing on arrival. It's only the PCR testing on the way out. And I think that's the direction we're taking. Now, the next map which has been trying to somehow come up, it's a little bit zoomed into the Bwindi area. So I'm just going to zoom it in a little more. Okay, let's see. So we came up north. So this is the whole entire, one of the questions that really comes up, and I know we've been focused on Uganda now. I'm just going to touch a little bit on the guerrilla politics. We like to call it the guerrilla politics. And So you find in the entire world, the region where you find mountain gorillas is this region. One of the areas is Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, which is entirely in Uganda. Bwindi Impenetrable is right here. Then Uganda, this is entirely in Uganda. Then Uganda has a little park called Gahinga National Park. In Rwanda, there's the Volcanoes National Park, which is located right here. That the main station is called Kinigi. And then the DR Congo is right here, and it's called Virunga National Park. And this is the area where you find the mountain gorillas. Uganda has a little over half of the mountain gorilla population. These are the different stations where you find where you base from. For example, Buhoma has about 4 gorilla families now. Ruhija has about 6 gorilla families. Rushaga has about 8 gorilla families. This currently has the gorilla habituation experience. So if your guests want to do gorilla habituation, which lasts 4 hours. I missed to mention that the chimpanzee habituation, guests spend the entire day with the gorilla. No, not entire day, half the day. So they will start in the morning at about 6:30 and they will end at about 1 o'clock with the chimpanzees. And while with the mountain gorillas, they'll spend 4 hours with them. And Kuringo has another gorilla habituation experience as possible. And that happens here, and it has 3 gorilla families. And we have in the entire, the minimum age for chimpanzee trekking is 12 years. The minimum age for gorilla trekking is 15 years. I have to whisper this next one. If somebody is about 14 and something and they're responsible of a child and a part of the family, we can make some special considerations. We'll write special letters and in Uganda and they'll give special considerations. So that is a little bit about Uganda. I'm just going to move a little bit further on with the slide so that I know that time is a little fast spent. So Uganda does have the half of the mountain gorilla population, like we mentioned. It's got quite a healthy population of chimpanzees, but also other species. And we mentioned that it's more than gorillas. So we want to talk about the different primates, definitely, that one can see in Uganda, including humans, because we're also part of this species. So the other interesting species we can see are the humans. And these are the interesting culture experiences that Uganda has to offer. Now, the mountain gorillas, what is very special, very memorable about the mountain gorillas is that really they're like humans. They're gentle giants. 98% are DNA, but also they have our mannerisms as people. They've got, as humans, they've got the caring bits, perhaps even more caring than we are, and they're really a once in a lifetime experience for guests to encounter. The different boat rides that are possible, when you have some really energetic guests or adventure thrilled guests, we have whitewater rafting on the River Nile that is possible. The Fort Portal area that I mentioned has very many crater lakes, like we can see in this picture. Lots of opportunities for mountaineering, soft hiking. We have an opportunity, for example, to walk from the northern part of Bwindi to the southern part of Bwindi through tropical rainforests. So what is really unique about Uganda is definitely that it's a mix between the East African savannas as well as the central tropical rainforests. We've got over 56 tribes and more dialects of people. We are, the country is teeming in terms of cultures. In fact, the word Uganda itself means a united Ganda. Ganda meaning tribes that came together to form this country. And so they're very big, huge opportunities that one doesn't need to go far to actually be able to interact with the different cultures, from cultures that are similar to the Maasai's, and the typical Bantu keeping people. Now, in the entire Africa, in the entire Africa, we have about 5 countries whose bird list tops 1,000, and Uganda is the smallest of those countries. And so it is, in terms of bird species per square area, it is very, very wide, from migratory species to really special endemic species. This little guy over here is the shoebill stork, is a very wide species to any keen bird watcher or any enthusiast, in Uganda, but any bird enthusiast. Now, I mentioned the opportunities for excursions on the River Nile, excursions in different areas on different lakes, as well as sunset cruises we organize on Lake Victoria. So when guests need, often what we organize as well is whether at the beginning or at the end, a sunset cruise on Lake Victoria, and just as a welcome to Uganda. Really, it also has good opportunities for walking safaris. I mentioned to see the rhinos, but generally in as well, Lake Kimbora is quite rewarding. Horse riding is as well possible. So it makes it a semi-active adventure that guests are not only seated in the vehicles, but are really active a little bit on their feet and on. What I must also say is that for the gorilla trekking, where you have guests that might be might not be too mobile, we have what we call the African helicopter, where we'll lift them up, a group of men and women too, we'll lift them up on a stretcher, and they'll sit like the old African kings and take them, we call it the African helicopter, take them to the mountain gorillas and land them there. They'll see the mountain gorillas and then bring them back home. So that's a possibility. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't come to Uganda and not have the magical sundowners that are taking in the sunsets, and together with the gin and tonics and the wonderful beers that this nation does have. So, those are part of the little specialties. What we also often want to do is organize really special touches together with Exotic Journeys, and they'll tell us, this specialty about this guest, and we sprinkle in little surprises where guests can actually be able to take part in small culture encounters, or often as well surprise elements that might not be written on the itinerary, but as long as we know we have a bit of information, we often plan that well. And I mentioned about authentic encounters, coffee tours, tea tours, visiting of local markets, and really having an in-depth understanding of the country. These are the typical properties that we work with together with Exotic Journeys. They'll normally advise us what we need to organize on ground, depending on the guest's budget and especially their time. But above all, together with Exotic Journeys, for us, it's every guest is a VIP. We'll roll out the red carpet. We want to know what is special about them, and give us an excuse to throw a party. If you don't give us the excuse, we'll throw the party anyway. That's what we'll try to do. So the different properties that are nested in different, in unique locations, and we will select them, and together with the Exotic Journeys are able to advise what fits the particular guest or little family group. It could be areas where they need wheelchair access, so etc. We ensure that the property is suited for that.
The word Uganda means United Ganda. So Ganda means tribes that came together to form Uganda.
Waking up to know that you're going to see something different. Whichever trip that I do, I don't have a fixed expectation. I'm just leaving myself to be surprised by nature. It's a destination where one comes, and other than seeing the gorillas, you can see the big five.
It was a really, really special, once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I feel very lucky that I got to do it.
One of the things that makes Uganda special is that we have few tourist numbers, and that, in my opinion, makes Uganda authentic. It makes Uganda the real Africa. Above all things, it's home to fantastic warm-hearted people. It's got a unique, diverse culture. And all this makes Uganda special.
I love to share my country from a number of perspectives. The music, the cultures, the wildlife, the life of the people, the stories that each of the tribes that lives in Uganda has.
I've been really lucky to see a lot of Africa, and Uganda really tops it when it comes to landscapes and sunrises and sunsets. It really is a beautiful place. The lodges we stayed in were, unbelievably beautiful. They all have the most exquisite views, often put up top of hills overlooking undulating mountains.
We've got some wonderful lodges that are overlooking craters, that are overlooking savannas, Bwindi Impenetrable National Park.
We are a pearl of Africa, gifted by nature in extremes. That's what Uganda would mean to me.
This trip to Uganda has left me wanting to plan my next trip to Uganda. But it is more unique than any of the African countries that I've ever visited.
What makes me very happy is when guests come back and they have a smile. That warms my heart. That is the biggest satisfaction that I have. And at the end of the day, to say that we're giving our guests the very, very best of a safari experience.
Please, for more information, do contact the travel agent, Michael.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tony, for sharing all that great information with us. Uganda clearly has so much to offer. Yes, we hope you all found this very informative and that you're ready to plan your next trip to Uganda with Exotic Journeys. Again, please make sure you do sign up for the following sessions that we do have this week and next week. You can do that by visiting exotictours.com. But in saying that, thank you again, Tony, for joining us. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tony. Bye.
Thank you, Tony.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.